Hi everyone, my name is Ashley with Clover Patch Knits. I'm super excited to be making this video because this is my first ever knitting and crocheting podcast. Been wanting to make this channel for a really long time, but as many of us do, we put off things. But I told myself I'm no longer going to put off making this channel anymore. So here I am. So a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in the amazing and great state of Mississippi. This state is filled with like amazing hospitality, amazing food, and a lot of talented people here. So if you've never been, if you can give us a visit, come to Mississippi because you may just end up wanting to move here because it really is an amazing state. And so with this channel, it's mostly going to consist of me literally rambling and talking about things that I'm knitting, crocheting, and making, or also things that I want to make in the future regarding knitting and crocheting. And in some episodes, I'll talk about books that I'm reading or books that I want to read. So that's what this channel will mostly consist of right now. Now down the road, it may change, but that's what the channel is mostly going to be about right now. So you're just going to hear me talk on and on about things that I'm making or things I want to make. So what brought me into this wonderful hobby of knitting and crocheting? Well, I always wanted to learn how to crochet, but it wasn't until I was about 14 where I was like, I'm going to learn how to crochet. So I went to YouTube University. I was like, teach me how to crochet. And so the first thing I ever made was, or attempted to make, was a crochet infinity scarf. That was like 10 plus hours of work. Cried maybe about 4 or 5 times during the process, but it was okay because it was well worth it because I ended up falling in love with a new hobby. I wish I would have kept that scarf, but I threw it away because it was so horrible and it did not look like an infinity scarf at all. But I wish I would have kept it because it was my first project that I ever made, and it's a project that made me fall in love with crochet. And then about a year or two later, I was like, I gotta learn how to knit because I saw all these beautiful knit sweaters and I was like, that's gotta be my next hobby. So I went to YouTube University again. It's like, teach me how to knit. And of course, the first thing I attempted to knit as well was a sweater. Not a sweater, it was actually a scarf. Then the next thing I attempted to make was a knit raglan cardigan. And I don't know why I attempted to make that on my second item because I was a baby knitter at this time. I was still trying to learn how to hold the needles and the yarn together. That was not great either, but it was okay because it's all about learning. And like I said, I was a baby knitter. So it's all about learning and falling in love with the new hobby. So it definitely worked because now I end up spending way too much money on yarn. So that's the thing. If you're thinking about wanting to enter the knitting or crocheting hobby, I'll just warn you, you may fall in love with this hobby so much that you may end up spending too much on yarn, but it's okay because it's going to something that you enjoy doing. So that's just a warning if you're thinking about joining this hobby. So now I'll talk about what I've been currently working on. This is a super popular pattern. It's the Money pattern by Petite Knit. Now this is my first ever Petite Knit pattern that I've ever made. I don't know why. I've seen her patterns for years, but for some reason, her patterns just intimidated me. I think because a lot of her patterns look super like commercial wear, like you could buy them out of the store. I was just like, I don't know. It looks like it's too complex, but last year, because this is when I started on this sweater, was last year, but I was like, I'm not going to let her patterns intimidate me anymore. I'm going to give this a try because I'm like, I've been knitting for years. I should be able to knit one of her patterns. So I saw the Monday sweater. It was super talked about. And then I'm super glad that I attempted to make this pattern because it's not that hard. And it has taught me how to do new things because I'm going to show the sweater. But in a little bit, I'm going to show it now. So on this sweater, and this is how far I've gotten. Oh, let me hold it up. So I'm almost done. Like I'm almost at the body part. I need to finish a little bit because it's a little bit cropped. I think at this point, I haven't tried it on, but I think it's a little cropped before I get to the ribbing, and then I'm gonna move on to the sleeves. Now, this is my second attempt at this sweater. I originally started this sweater back in October. I think it was like the 27th or the 24th of 2024. But I had to restart it because I've never done an Italian bind off. So on this pattern, it calls for an Italian bind off on the sleeves. I'm not sure what it calls for on the ribbing. I'm assuming it's the same bind off because I don't know if you're like me. I'm one of those people where I see a beautiful pattern, I buy it, and then I don't read the full pattern until I start making it. So I'll buy the pattern, buy the yarn, and then when I start making the item, I read the pattern as I go along. And then as I'm making it, of course, I get confused in some sections. So I've never done the Italian bind off. So, and also when I make my sweaters, like my top down, I usually finish the whole body part, do the ribbing, bind off, go to sleeves. Well, on my first attempt of making the Monday sweater, I had the great idea of like, I'm going to, make the get down here, right up in here, and then I'm going to start my sleeves. I was like, because I've never done that before. I don't know if that's what threw me off, but yeah, when I got to the bind off, and another thing, on my sleeve, I attempted to make modifications, which I was proud of myself because I usually do not make modifications when I knit. I just go to pattern, but I made modifications. But the only thing is when I made modifications on the first sleeve, I didn't write down what I did. So when I got to the second sleeve, I kind of forgot about what modifications I did. And the second sleeve just wasn't looking exactly like the first one. And then when I got to the second sleeve bind off, I was just confused on how to bind off. So I tried to take out the second sleeve and it just didn't go well. So I said, forget about it. I'm just going to restart again. So my second attempt, I have to look at my notes. I think I've started back. Let's see, I'm looking at my notes now. It was around December 27, 2024. Now, probably could have been done with this sweater, but I'm one of those people. I start, working on a project, stop, start, that type of thing. So I plan to really work on this sweater this weekend because I believe it's February. Yeah, it's February 5th now. So hopefully I'll work on this sweater this weekend because I could definitely be done with the body and yeah, and get the ribbing and bind off and then go to my sleeves. But as I was saying, I'm really glad that I picked this pattern because on this sweater, it has a folded collar, which I absolutely love because I've never done a folded collar before. And when I would see other people's sweaters, seeing a folded collar also intimidated me. I don't know why, because it's not this hard, or maybe just in this pattern, the way she's done the folded collar was not that hard. And I love this pattern because it is written really well. And even some parts, maybe where I'm like, I'm not sure how to do it. She has on her website, Petite Knit on the website, where there are videos that you can watch on how to do it. So this is super like easy. So if you're, I wouldn't say maybe like a baby knitter, but if you've been knitting for a little while, definitely give this pattern a try. And honestly, I think this is gonna be my favorite sweater. I think it's probably gonna be my favorite sweater because of the yarn that I use, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But it's just such a classic look. Like, I'm probably, when I get done making this sweater, I'm probably going to wear it way too much, but it's okay because I made it. So it's totally fine. So I can't wait to finish the sweater and wear it. And also, this is my first like raglan item that I have made in 6 years. Raglan's items just intimidated me because of my horrendous experience of trying to make a raglan knit cardigan when I first started. Like when I told you, I was just so scared to try raglan again. But like I said, this pattern is just really well written that the raglan part was so easy. I'm like, why? I don't know why. I would just say, if you are starting a new hobby like knitting or crocheting or any hobby, like don't be afraid to try things because you don't want to spend years like just in this hobby and being afraid to try things. A hobby is to learn how to do something fun. So don't be afraid to try something new. So I just hate that I didn't make this pattern a lot sooner, but it's okay because I'm making it now. So I'm going to talk about the yarn that I'm using for this sweater. And I love this yarn. So in this pattern, I believe if I can remember, it requires a fingering and weight lace yarn held together. So for my fingering yarn, this is the color. I love this color. It is called Lodge Pool by, let me look at the brand name. It's called Old Rusted Chair. And it may be backwards, but if you have never seen this brand before, I'll put the link, the information and the link below so y'all can look at this yarn because this is hand-dyed yarn and I love this company. They are so amazing, and this is 438 yards and it is Swiss merino yarn, and like I said, it's a color called Lodge Pool, but I love this. And then the lace yarn that I'm using is from Nitpick. It is their Alpaca Cloud lace weight. I hope I don't botch this name, but I believe it's pronounced Heathcliff if you want to get you some. And the color number is C847, but I also put this in the information below. This is what it looks like. It's still in the hank. I haven't unwound it yet, but the great thing I love about Nitpick is they usually have a lot of sales. So like I said, on this sweater, this is my second attempt. So of course I had to buy more yarn, but when I bought the second quantity amount of this yarn, they had it on sale, so I got it for a great discounted price. So yeah, if you've never shopped at Nitpick, go and give them a look. So I'll put their information as well in the link below. But these two yarns combined, absolutely amazing. Every time I try on this sweater, I never have any itchiness, and that has definitely been an issue for me with sweaters that I've made in the past that sadly I don't wear because they're just, it's too itchy and it's not uncomfortable. And so that's another thing for me. I don't know, maybe it depends on the person, but if I make something, I also want to be comfortable when I'm making it. So I'm super glad that I chose these two yarns together. I think it's a beautiful color combination. The green, I love this sweater. So I try not to set goals for myself because I also do procrastinate on my knitting. But right now it's February 5th and I feel like I could be done with this, I say, at the end of February, but we shall see. But I believe I can be done with this. You know, only thing about me when it comes to knitting, I don't know if I need to set myself like an alarm. Like maybe I need to knit like before I go to work, or if I get off work, I have to set myself an alarm, be like, okay, come on, like we're going to knit. Because I feel like if I put in at least 30 minutes of knitting on this a day, I could be done by the end of this month. But like I said, sometimes it doesn't happen. Like sometimes I'll work on my sweater, example, I'll work on it Monday and then not pick it up again till like the weekend, Saturday. So I need to get better. Hopefully I will start like at least 30 minutes of knitting at least a day. And another thing that 2025 needs to also work on when it comes to her knitting and crochet is reading the patterns to the full entirety. So that's just how I am. So hopefully I'll break that and read the patterns. Now, they're going about things that I want to make. So in my year of 2024, I did not make many items at all. What did I make? So I know I made crochet an infinity scarf, knit a sweater, made my younger sister a beanie, and I think that was it. I may be forgetting things. Maybe I made crochet 2 blankets, but not very many things because 2024 was my year of finding what patterns that I wanted to make, but also finding patterns that would challenge me or step me out of my comfort zone. Because for previous years, I usually would make things that were in my comfort level, and I was like, I want to step out of my comfort level. So, and that can consist of maybe, because I usually make top down sweaters, so I was like, let's try a bottom up sweater because I've never attempted those. So like I said, 2024 was me finding patterns that I wanted to make and also buying the yarn for patterns. So 2 sweaters that I also want to complete in 2025. Now these are popular patterns, but the first one is the stripe hype sweater by Veronika Lindburg. I love this pattern. All of the color combinations that I have seen from other people's sweaters have been absolutely beautiful. But if you all follow, I believe her Instagram name is California Knits, I'll put her information in the link below. But her color combination for the stripe hype sweater is absolutely beautiful, and that is the exact same color combination that I picked as well. So I can't wait to start on that one because I really don't have many striped sweaters. I'm not sure about the construction of that sweater, but it's some color work. I believe stripes are considered color work. Yeah, I think so. But I think it's gonna challenge me because I'm not sure of the construction of the sweater. Because like I said, it's one of those patterns I saw, I fell in love, and I did not read the full entirety of that pattern either. So I'm not sure the construction of that one, but I'm super excited to make that one. So I don't know, once I get done with the Monday sweater, if that's going to be my next sweater or not, because the other pattern that I purchased in 2024 is the Nebula sweater by Andrea Mowry. I love that sweater. It is so beautiful to me. And the color combination that I chose for that one, I believe it's on the pattern photos that she released. It is that beautiful green color. And I also think that she was on a live where she had the Nebula sweater on in that beautiful green color. For people who saw it, you all know what I'm talking about. But that is the color that I picked for that sweater. And I was like, this color is so beautiful. So I bought that yarn as well. Now, I did read some of that pattern, and I believe that one is a bottom-up sweater. So, and I also think that is why I did not start on that sweater in 2024, because I've never done a bottom-up sweater. And I was just kind of hesitant. I'm like, oh my God, can I do this? Because, and I think I'm working on getting out of perfectionism. I feel like other like knitters and crocheters kind of understand where you're like everything has to be perfect, but I'm trying to work on like everything does not have to be perfect, because that's how I am. But I'm just like, I don't want to mess up because the yarn is so beautiful. So I'm not gonna be scared this year, and I don't know, maybe that will be my next sweater that I start on, because I did purchase the Nebula pattern and the yarn before the stripe hype sweater. So I may start on the Nebula sweater. I don't know. It depends on when I get done with the Monday sweater. Because I also have knitting, oh my God, not knittings. I also have mittens that I told my younger sister I was going to make her ever since like I believe October of 2024. And I have not made those mittens yet. I cannot remember the pattern name, but I'll find it and put it in the link below. It's a beautiful pattern. I feel like it's going to be super simple. I just haven't started on it because I don't know, I may want to change this. I am a diehard monogamous knitter. Like, I work on one project, but for someone who procrastinates on their knitting, that can be a con or a pro, because I'm like, I probably could have been done with her mittens because it's a short project and it's not much. And I probably could have been done with those mittens, but because I've been procrastinating on my Monday sweater, they have not been done yet. But for me, I think the most whips that I've ever had was like 3, and that was just too much. I think the most whips that I can have maybe is 2, but if it's 2, it would have to be like me working on a sweater, and the next one would have to be like a smaller project, maybe like a beanie or some socks or some mittens. So I may start on the mittens, even though I'm not done with the Monday sweater, because it's February now, and where I live in Mississippi, it is starting to warm up again in February. And I'm like, now my sister may not even have use for the mittens until like at the end of this year, December or November, or whenever it gets cold again. So it may be 2026 before she can even use the mittens. So I may start on that next, even though I have not finished my Monday sweater, because I probably will continue to procrastinate with the Monday sweater, because this sweater is also a fingering weight sweater. I believe it's considered fingering weight, but I've never made a fingering weight sweater, so it's kind of taken me a while. Most of my sweaters I would use like DK weight or worsted weight, because I didn't want to take a super long time. So, but like I said, hopefully the goal is to get done with this pattern by February. That's the goal, y'all. I don't know. I hope so. Or at least the beginning of March. I plan to be done with this. But like I said, need to really be committed to finishing this pattern. There are also, I have so many things I want to make, which I'll talk about in other episodes. I feel like in the next episode, I'm going to talk about Christmas sweaters that I want to make, because I need to get started on, I'm like, if I'm going to make a Christmas sweater, I need to decide which pattern I'm going to make now, so I can go ahead and start on it, so it won't be December of 2025 and I'm still working on my Christmas sweater. So in next episode, I that's what I need to do. I'm gonna see what other patterns, holiday sweaters, that I want to make, and so I'll talk about that in the next episode. So like I said, because I need to go ahead and decide what sweater that I want to make for my holiday sweater, because that is also on my, I say, my to-do list of things I want to make for 2025. So yeah, we have made it to the end of this video. If you have stayed this long to hear me ramble and talk about all the wonderful hobbies and things that I want to make, thank you. And I will put my Instagram name in the link below if you want to give me a follow. And then also, if you like this video, you can give me a subscribe or like. And so I will see you all next time. Bye.